It is officially done. Conor McGregor has signed his contract. It is now official that he is going to be fighting Dustin Poirier on January 23, headlining UFC 257. And according to Dana White, there is no title that's going to be on the line. Just a clean-cut 5-round main event against 2 strikers. Maybe Dustin Poirier tries to take it to the ground. I think it would be in his best interest to try to take this fight to the ground and not stick to a kickboxing bout with Conor McGregor. Conor is a better boxer overall. He's a better kicker overall. Almost every kick in the book he throws is better than Dustin Poirier's. His timing is better, he has more power in his feet, he's a better counter puncher, he's a better sniper, he has a better chin, and does not leave himself anywhere near as vulnerable as Dustin Poirier does boxing. Poirier has those switch step combinations, but often he will leave himself open against counter strikers because his switch steps are not subtle. They're extremely long and very exaggerated. Through those, I've talked about it many times, if he goes for a switch step combo, he's going to get countered and dropped or even knocked out the very first time he throws it. Also, Conor McGregor's movement is not going to allow Dustin Poirier to combo on him the way he's able to do it against Justin Gaethje, the way he was able to put some combinations together against Eddie Alvarez, a few of them against Max Holloway. Now you might scratch your head and say, but Holloway has really good movement, he's very fast on his feet. How come he was able to land a few combinations on Holloway? Well, the thing is, Holloway doesn't counter the same way Conor McGregor does. He doesn't take half back steps into counter shots. He doesn't take subtle movements to find angles to counter the opponent like Conor McGregor does, right? When he moves away, he likes to really separate from the opponent, giving them a lot of space to work with. Conor does not do that. When Holloway moves back on those switch step combos, he's giving Dustin Poirier a lot of room to continue, where Conor is going to take one step back, slip a punch, and counter right from there. Is going to cut off intervals from Dustin Poirier, and that is huge in this fight. That is absolutely massive. So ultimately, I 100% see Conor McGregor win this fight. It's not going to be super easy for him, of course, right? Dustin Poirier, at the level he's at, nobody's going to be able to defeat him that quickly and that easily. But when you look at his last performance against Dan Hooker, who isn't stylistically the same fighter as Conor McGregor, but when you look at the polished striking and some of the timing and stuff like that, it doesn't even rival Conor McGregor's level at all. And he was tagging Dustin Poirier here and there. Of course, using his grit and using his chin to get into places that Conor won't do, but Conor doesn't need to do that. Conor has more entries, more traps, more baiting tactics to get Dustin Poirier to fall into the eventual left hand or even some of his kicks. We might see something new from Conor McGregor. We saw shoulder strikes against Donald Cerrone. I wonder what he has in store for us now. He's been training for a while. He's in very good shape, very healthy mentally right now, it seems like, looking at some of his interviews. And he's competitively back into the game, it seems like. And that is extremely exciting as a Conor McGregor fan, as someone who's wanted to see Conor McGregor return to this form that he used to be in when he fought Nate Diaz the second time, when he fought Eddie Alvarez, and when he fought in the featherweight division. So my official early prediction is going to be Conor McGregor second round knockout, not TKO, KO. I think he's going to counter Dustin Poirier with the left hand. I think he's going to tag him a few times in the first round. Poirier's going to get a little bit anxious in the fight after feeling some of Conor's power and feeling that he's not the same guy he used to be. And also some of the wars that Poirier's been in throughout the years, I guarantee they're going to catch up, and it's going to somewhat factor into his inability to take counter shots. From that, Conor is probably going to get a title shot, and what I see from the division is, with Khabib on the sidelines or not fighting anybody besides GSP potentially, I can absolutely see a world where Conor McGregor competitively wants to be active and dominates the division. It's a tough fight, but I do think he defeats Justin Gaethje. I think Gaethje is a harder fight for him than Dustin Poirier is, specifically due to the leg kicks and the movement. I think he does defeat Tony Ferguson. Ferguson has taken some horrendous damage throughout the years, and looking at the way he was getting countered by Justin Gaethje, it's very logical to think that Conor could do something a lot more devastatingly against Tony. But of course, Tony is a game plan guy. He could really display high fight IQ depending on who he's fighting and the style he is coming up against. So that is a bit of an enigma. How is he going to approach a fight against Conor McGregor? That is a bit interesting to think about, but logically looking at some of Tony Ferguson's last performances, I would have to say that Conor McGregor would defeat him. I think Dan Hooker takes too much damage in the fight, gets TKO'd probably second or third round after showing his grit. I think Charles Oliveira is an interesting fight due to his takedowns and due to his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and some of his better timing and distance management that he has been showing, but ultimately I do see him falling into some of the strikes. When you intelligently pressure Oliveira, take some proficient entries into his striking ranges, he will be a lot easier to deal with. If Conor fights Michael Chandler, yes, so everybody in this division is going to have a hard time against Conor McGregor. And you could even go down the list, man. Paul Felder, Carlos Diego Ferreira, there's a lot of guys in this division that are going to have a very hard time against Conor if he wants to stay active. But ultimately, we have to see. It's MMA, anything can happen. But that is what I see from Conor, being confident in his preparation to carry on his career with a lot more focus. And I cannot wait for UFC 257. 257.